The yellow warning lights bathed the bridge of the UES Aurora in an eerie glow. Captain Li Jiwoo pressed her palms against the navigation console, watching another blue star wink out on the holographic star map. That made 17 systems lost to the Vorthari in just 3 days. The crystalline warships advanced like a plague, consuming everything in their path. "Captain," called Lieutenant Kim Woo-sung from the communications station. His young face was pale, eyes wide as he monitored the incoming data streams. "Vorthari scouts are entering our sensor range. They've crossed the buffer zone." Jiwoo turned to her tactical officer. The woman's fingers moved rapidly across her touchscreen, updating threat assessments with each new piece of information. "How long before they reach the outer colonies?" 36 hours at their current speed, Captain." The bridge fell silent. Everyone knew what that meant. The Vorthari had swept through the galaxy like wildfire, overwhelming the Kelti Confederation, the Thraxian Empire, and dozens of smaller civilizations. Each species had surrendered after the first brutal demonstration of Vorthari power. Their crystalline warships could crack planets. Their energy weapons turned entire fleets into space dust. "Incoming transmission," Woo-sung announced suddenly. It's the Grand Commander." Jiwoo straightened her uniform. On screen, the hologram shimmered to life above the bridge. The Vorthari Grand Commander stood 3 meters tall, a being of living crystal that pulsed with inner light. Geometric patterns shifted across its translucent body. When it spoke, the voice seemed to come from everywhere at once, like stone grinding against metal. "You are the species called humans. Your neighbors have already seen wisdom. The Kelti bow to us. The Thraxians serve us. Your resistance is pointless. Join them." Light years away in the command bunker beneath Seoul, Admiral Park Seong-min watched the same transmission. His knuckles whitened around his coffee mug as the Vorthari commander continued. "Submit now, and your species will survive. We require workers, not corpses. Refuse, and we will demonstrate why resistance is futile." The hologram projected images of conquest, Kelti labor camps where spider-like aliens mined asteroids under Vorthari oversight, Thraxian engineers forced to maintain crystalline warships, entire planets stripped of resources, their populations relocated to serve the Empire. "You have 1 cycle of your planet's rotation to decide." The transmission ended, plunging the command center into silence. General Chang Mi-kyung stood beside Park, her arms crossed. Her decorated uniform bore the scars of countless battles against human enemies. But nothing like this. "Prepare our response," Park said quietly. Mi-kyung's lips curved into a grim smile. She pressed her comlink. "All division commanders report to the Situation Room. We have work to do." Back aboard the Aurora, Jiwoo gathered her senior officers. "Start mapping their ship movements. I want to know their patterns, their weaknesses." "Captain," her chief engineer spoke up, "the data we've gathered from other species shows these ships are virtually indestructible. Their shields adapt to whatever weapon we throw at them." "Nothing is indestructible," Jiwoo replied. "Every system has a weakness. We just need to find it." Across human space, the reaction was swift. Planetary governors activated defense networks. Military reservists reported to duty stations. Civilian shipyards began retrofitting cargo vessels with whatever weapons they could mount. It was chaos, but organized chaos. In the asteroid mining station Prometheus 7, Foreman Won Young-soo watched the emergency broadcasts with growing concern. His miners were tough, used to working in harsh conditions, but this was different. Still, when military procurement officers arrived asking for his mining lasers, he didn't hesitate. "Take whatever you need," he told them. "Just show these crystal bullies what humans are made of." Children in schools across Earth spent their last normal day drawing pictures of brave astronauts fighting alien invaders. Teachers tried to maintain routine while secretly packing go bags in case evacuation orders came. Parents made quiet preparations, storing food and water, checking on elderly neighbors. As Earth's sun set on that fateful day, defense installations hummed with activity. Weapons platforms oriented themselves toward the outer system. Long-range sensors scanned constantly for approaching threats, underground bunkers filled with emergency supplies. Jiwoo stood on her bridge as the Aurora began acceleration burns toward the outer defense perimeter. Through the viewport, she could see other ships taking position. Destroyers, frigates, even converted mining vessels. None matched Vorthari technology, but they were here. In the command bunker, Park addressed his staff. Maps showing defensive. Positions and evacuation routes covered every wall. The Vorthari expect us to fold immediately. They've conquered 1,000 species this way, but they've never faced humans before. He paused, looking at each officer in turn. They don't understand what desperation can do, what innovation born from necessity can achieve. They're about to learn. As the countdown to the Vorthari deadline continued, humanity united. Old rivals became allies. Corporate competitors shared resources. Scientists who had spent careers in isolation now collaborated frantically on defensive measures. The stage was set. One species stood alone against the unstoppable tide. One species said no when everyone else had surrendered. The Vorthari were coming, and for the first time in their conquest, they would face an enemy that refused to submit. The first wave of crystalline warships materialized near the Orion 3 way station like dark ghosts emerging from fog. Colonel Choi Hyunwoo gripped his fighter's controls as proximity alarms blared throughout his cockpit. Behind the station, Earth's sun painted space in orange hues that sparkled off the enemy's translucent hulls. "All units, this is command," crackled through his headset. Vorthari fleet detected, size estimate, my God. 12 capital ships, 42 escort cruisers. Hyunwoo's mouth went dry. This force alone could annihilate his entire battle group. He keyed his comm. "Eagle Squadron, prepare for combat deployment. Forget everything you learned in training." His wingmate, Lieutenant Kang Min-ho, voiced what everyone thought. "Colonel, our standard attack formations won't—" "I said forget them, we're going to fly drunk." The Vorthari cruisers moved in perfect geometric patterns, their formations calculated by algorithms that had conquered countless races. But as Earth's fighters launched from Orion 3, they scattered like startled birds. Each pilot chose their own path through the asteroid field surrounding the station. Hyunwoo's fighter dove between spinning rocks, rolling at random intervals. His radar showed Vorthari targeting computers struggling to maintain locks. Behind him, a crystalline destroyer fired its precision beam weapons at empty space where his fighter would have been, if following predictable maneuvers. On the battleship Indomitable, Captain Im So-ra watched the chaos unfold. Her bridge crew worked frantically at stations not designed for combat. This ship was a construction vessel, built to haul materials to orbital platforms. Now it carried hastily mounted weapons and desperate hope. "Engineering status report," So-ra barked. "We've jury-rigged the mining lasers to the main power grid," replied Engineer Han Dong-hyuk, sweat beading on his forehead. "But if we fire them at full power, how much power can we push through those particle accelerators? Captain, that's suicide. The heat will melt our—" A Vorthari beam glanced off their makeshift shields. The ship shuddered. Emergency lights flickered. So-ra's jaw clenched. "We'll worry about melting later. What can you give me now?" 80% overload, but we'll burn out half our systems. Do it. The modified mining lasers had never been intended for warfare. They were designed to core asteroids, to slice through rock and ice. Now they carved through space toward crystalline shields that had never encountered anything so crude. The beam struck true. For a heartbeat, the Vorthari shields held. Then cracks spiderwebbed across their energy barriers. Sparks erupted from crystal matrices as unfamiliar energy patterns overwhelmed their adaptive systems. Aboard the Vorthari command ship, Commander Zerfion watched tactical displays with growing confusion. His officers called out status reports in crystalline tones that rang like wind chimes. "Our shields are adapting slowly to these primitive weapons. The small craft maneuvers defy prediction. Our targeting solutions keep failing." Zerfion leaned forward, studying the chaotic battle. "This is irregular. Their ships move without coordination. Their weapons, those appear to be industrial tools. The greatest shock came when Earth's defenders attempted to use the Vorthari's own superweapons against them. Dr. Yoon Ji-hai worked furiously at her station aboard the command frigate Defiance. Around her, screens displayed the complex energy signatures of crystalline planet crackers powering up. Target locked on Orion 3. A Vothari weapons officer reported. Zerfion nodded. This station would vaporize, breaking human resistance. The planet cracker began its charge cycle, building the force needed to shatter worlds. But Dr. Yoon had spent the last month studying captured Vothari data crystals. She understood enough of their harmonic technology to attempt the unthinkable. Her fingers flew across her console, routing power through jury-rigged emitters salvaged from mining equipment. Transmitting interference patterns now. The signal pulsed through space, matching frequencies with the charging planet cracker. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the massive weapon stuttered. Energy buildup fluctuated. Harmonics went out of sync. The weapon failed to reach critical mass, discharging harmlessly into space. Aboard the Vothari flagship, warning tones rang out for the first time in 10,000 years of conquest. Weapon failure? That's not possible, Zerfion stated, voice rising in disbelief. They somehow disrupted our harmonic matrix, reported his chief engineer. The humans transmitted counter patterns that... The explanation died as another modified mining laser struck their port shields. This time the barriers failed completely. Physical impacts battered their hull as human fighters swarmed around, the wound like wolves scenting blood. Among the asteroids, Hyunwoo whooped as his tactical display updated. Direct hit! Their shields are down! But celebrations cut short as more Vothari ships maneuvered into position. The battle had only begun, and both sides were learning hard lessons. The Vothari realized their predictive systems couldn't track chaos. The humans discovered that improvisation could overcome technology gaps, but at terrible cost. As the clash continued, explosions lit up space around Orion 3. Human ships, pushed beyond design limits, began failing. But for each vessel lost, they learned. For every successful tactic, they adapted further. The Vothari had won by overwhelming force. The humans would win by refusing to fight the same way twice. When Zerfion's fleet finally withdrew to regroup, neither side could claim victory. But the galaxy took notice. For the first time, the Vothari had retreated. For the first time, a defender had survived their opening assault. The impossible had happened. The Vothari blockade had settled around human space like a net, cutting off trade routes and communications. For 6 months, massive crystalline ships patrolled the borders, waiting for humanity to crack under pressure. Instead, humans adapted. Deep beneath Seoul's streets, Resource Director Oh Tae-min walked through vast underground chambers. Rows of vegetables grew under artificial lights powered by geothermal systems. Workers tended plants that no longer relied on imports or sunny skies. Minister Moon, Oh called to his visitor. Look at these yields, 40% above our projections. Defense Minister Moon Ji-young examined lettuce growing without soil. And the outer colonies? The asteroid bases now produce their own food. The moon colonies exceed self-sufficiency. Even Mars-based Delta exports surplus to Earth. Moon smiled. Vothari siege tactics had isolated dozens of species into starvation. But humans treated blockades like puzzles to solve. In a converted shopping mall, Dr. Kwak Seung-ho led a team reverse engineering salvaged Vothari technology. Holographic. Displays showed complex energy patterns as his scientists manipulated crystalline fragments. Their shield generators work on harmonic resonance, explained Dr. Kwak. We've mapped 80% of the frequency patterns. When can we deploy our own prototypes? Asked his assistant. 2 weeks, maybe less. The breakthrough came when we realized they use multi-layered harmonics like music. Above ground, civilian engineer Shin Minna worked to prevent another power shortage. Her crew connected salvaged Vothari power cores to city transformers. These crystalline batteries held incredible energy, if handled correctly. Increase output by 5%, she ordered. Her team monitored readings carefully. One wrong calculation could cause catastrophic overload. Another brownout averted, she reported to Central Command. These power cores could run the city for a month. In space, unseen by Vothari patrols, stealth reconnaissance ship Ghost Shadow glided through asteroid fields. Captain Kim Young-min reviewed sensor data with Navigation Officer Lee Jin-suk. Mark their patrol patterns, Kim instructed. Third pass this week shows consistent timing. Ghost Shadow's advanced stealth coating, developed by combining human radar absorption technology with captured Vorthari cloaking fragments, rendered it nearly invisible. Supply convoy detected, reported Tactical Officer Park Hana. Course suggests they're heading for Sector 7 Alpha. Kim's findings transferred instantly to military command. There, Commander Bei Yoon-ji planned precise strikes against vulnerable targets. Her war room buzzed with activity as tactical staff updated holographic battle maps. If Ghost Shadow's right, we can hit their fuel depot here. Bei pointed to a specific location. Small strike team, quick insertion, maximum damage. Admiral Han Jae-sung monitored these operations. Under siege, human military doctrine evolved. Instead of large battles, they employed pinprick tactics. Death by 1,000 cuts. In hidden bunkers, teams trained for these raids. Sergeant Won Ji-hwan drilled his squad in zero-gravity combat using modified mining suits. They practiced with captured Vorthari weapons, learning enemy systems from captured manuals. Remember, Won barked, in and out fast, no heroics. Plant the charges and run. Meanwhile, Psychological Operations Coordinator, Dr. Choi Yun-mi, monitored intercepted Vorthari communications. Enemy forces showed signs of frustration at human adaptability. They expected quick surrender, she reported to command staff. Their supply chains aren't designed for extended siege warfare. As months passed, human industries completely retooled. Car factories manufactured weapons, electronics companies built sensor arrays, food processing plants converted to pharmaceutical production. The entire economy shifted towards self-reliance and resistance. Network security specialist John Soo-min guided cyber operations from a facility hidden in the Himalayan mountains. His team infiltrated Vorthari data nodes whenever the enemy let their guard down. We've created digital ghosts in their systems, Soo-min explained. Small data corruptions that won't trigger alerts but degrade efficiency. Children adapted too. Schools moved underground. History teachers explained how ancient Rome survived sieges. Science classes studied captured Vorthari technology. Physical education included zero-gravity training. 10-year-old Kim Min-ji practiced with emergency suits designed for children. When I grow up, I'll fly fighters like my mum, she told her teacher. Nature itself became an ally. Scientists discovered that Earth's magnetic field interfered with certain Vorthari sensors. Underground facilities used this natural shielding effectively. Weather control experiments previously abandoned as impractical received new funding. Early results showed promise in hiding surface installations under artificial cloud cover. International cooperation reached new heights. Former rivals shared resources freely. North and South Korea unified their defenses. China and America pooled space technologies. Europe's manufacturing might supported global resistance. In secret laboratories, quantum physics teams pursued theoretical breakthroughs inspired by Vorthari science. Dr. Hwang Dae-jung's team already developed early prototypes of quantum communicators that could pass messages through the blockade. As the siege continued, Vorthari commanders grew increasingly confused. Their empire built on overwhelming force faced an enemy that refused traditional defeat. Reports from their homeworlds questioned the extended operation. Resources strained. Morale wavered among crews expecting easy victory. Yet humans understood. This was preparation, not endurance. Every day brought new advantages. Every advancement brought them closer to breaking the siege entirely. The galaxy watched amazed as the besieged became the innovators, turning isolation into a forge for human ingenuity. Hidden deep within an asteroid field at the edge of the Kepler system, a secret base hummed with nervous energy. Ambassador. Yang Ji-sung straightened his formal jacket as he waited for his guests to arrive. 6 months of careful planning had led to this moment. The airlock cycled open. First came the Keltari delegation. These tall, insect-like beings moved with grace, despite their forced enslavement to the Vorthari. Their leader clicked forward on 4 legs, antennae twitching with hope, long dormant. Behind them followed representatives from 5 other conquered species. The bulky Grexians, the serpentine Vashari, the crystalline Nexari who resembled their captors but had been among their first victims. Each group bore marks of survival under Vorthari rule. "Welcome," Yang said simply. "We've prepared quarters and food suitable for each species," the Keltari delegate responded in broken English. "You humans, still fight. We see your ship movements, your raids. This gives us hope." Yang nodded. "Hope is important, but hope with action is better." Admiral Jun Hee-jong joined the gathering. His weathered face showed countless battles. Behind him stood engineers and tacticians who had modified human technology to work with alien systems. "Each of you brings unique knowledge," Jun began. "The Vorthari conquered you separately. They never expected you to share information. That's their weakness." The Grexian representative, a massive creature with stone-like skin, spoke in a rumbling voice. "What can we offer? We have no weapons, no ships." "You have experience," Jun replied. "You know their systems, their patrol patterns, their supply routes, and some of you still have access to technologies we don't." The Keltari delegate clicked excitedly. "Our bioships! The Vorthari use them for supply runs. We built them. We know their weaknesses." Jun turned to his tactical display. "Here's our proposal. Combined operations. Each species contributes its strengths." Captain Han Yubin stepped forward. His corvette, the Resilience, had been retrofitted with technology from multiple species. "We've developed ways to hide from Vorthari sensors. Your bioships can pass through their shields. Combined, we can hit targets they think are secure." Planning sessions ran for days. The Vashari, whose snake-like bodies allowed them to navigate tight spaces, shared blueprints of Vorthari command centers. The Nexari revealed harmonic frequencies that could disrupt crystalline technology. The Grexians offered mining expertise for sabotage operations. "We can attack their supply depot in the Orion Nebula," suggested Commander Lee Jae-hoon. "They've never been hit there." Yubin nodded. "The Resilience can guide your bioships through the approach. The nebula gases will mask our signature." 2 weeks later, the operation launched. Yubin commanded from his bridge as 3 Keltari bioships followed close behind. These living vessels, grown rather than built, resembled massive jellyfish with translucent skin. "Entering nebula now," reported Navigator Oh Soo-jung. Interference increasing. The bioships rippled with bioluminescence, communicating with each other through light patterns. They had evolved for space travel, predators that fed on solar radiation and cosmic dust. "Depot in range," Tactical Officer Kwon Min-ji announced. "Vorthari patrols on standard pattern." Yubin made a decision. All ships execute Plan Chaos. The Resilience fired mining charges into nearby asteroids, creating debris clouds. While Vorthari ships turned to investigate, the bioships slipped past their patrols. They attached themselves to the supply depot's outer hull like parasites. "Charges planted," confirmed the lead Keltari pilot. Yubin counted down. "Detonating in 3, 2, 1. The explosion tore through the depot's crystalline structure. Secondary detonations followed as stored energy weapons cooked off. The blast wave rippled through space, visible for light years. On Earth, Dr. Cho Min-sun analyzed the success. Her team had spent months studying captured Vorthari data cores. The crystalline matrices held thousands of years of military doctrine. "Look at this," she told her assistant. "Every battle record follows the same pattern. They expect overwhelming force to produce surrender. They've never faced coordinated resistance from multiple species." Chief Strategist Kang Ji-ho reviewed her findings. His war room walls displayed not just human military history, but now alien tactics as well. "Their predictive models are too rigid," Kang concluded. "They calculate outcomes based on historical precedent, but we're creating new precedents." Secret communication channels buzzed with activity. The Vashari shared locations of hidden Vorthari research facilities. The Grexians revealed mining planets where forced labor grew restless. The Nexari provided harmonics that could override security systems. Across the coalition, excitement built. Resistance cells formed on conquered worlds, supply lines disrupted, intelligence networks expanded. The empire that had seemed unstoppable now faced threats it couldn't predict. In their command centers, Vorthari admirals struggled to comprehend the shifting battle space. Their perfect algorithms faltered against chaos. Their overwhelming technology met unpredictable combinations of alien sciences. "The conquered species cooperate with humans," reported one confused commander. "This has never happened before." The crystalline beings, for all their advancement, had never understood one truth. Oppression breeds shared purpose among the oppressed, and in humanity, the downtrodden had found not just allies, but teachers in asymmetric warfare. As news of successful raids spread, more species joined the coalition. Each brought new perspectives, new technologies, new hatred for their conquerors. The galaxy's greatest empire now faced not one enemy, but a hydra with many heads. Stars stretched across the void as humanity's greatest armada assembled. Ships from every corner of human-controlled space gathered for the push that would either break the Vorthari siege or shatter human resistance once and for all. Among the fleet, converted civilian vessels sailed alongside purpose-built warships, each carrying crews determined to end the months-long standoff. Admiral Quan Tai Jun stood on the bridge of the massive dreadnought Defiant Spirit. Around him, holographic displays showed the positions of over 300 vessels. His executive officer, Captain Seo Yoon-ji, methodically verified readiness reports from each battle group. "Engineering reports green across all systems," she announced. "Admiral, the fleet awaits your orders." Tai Jun had studied the Vorthari command structure extensively. Their forces centered around a massive nexus station that coordinated defensive operations throughout human space. Destroying or disabling this facility would create chaos in their ranks. "Initiate Plan Phoenix," he commanded. His voice carried. "To every ship through secure channels. Remember, unpredictability is our ally." Light years away, fighter ace Kim Min-ho performed final checks on his experimental gunship. His squadron consisted of 24 fast attack craft modified with salvaged Vorthari technology. These hybrid vessels could match enemy speed while maintaining human maneuverability advantages. "Dragon Squadron, this is lead," Min-ho transmitted. "We draw their fire. Make them focused on us. Let the big plan happen." His ships accelerated first, emerging from behind an asteroid field like wraiths. Vorthari sensors detected the movement immediately. Their crystalline defense fleet moved to intercept, massive weapons glowing with building energy. The experimental gunships darted and weaved, executing random flight patterns that confused targeting computers. Min-ho's ship rolled through a spiral dive, narrowly missing energy blasts that superheated the space where he'd been moments before. While Vorthari forces concentrated on the nimble fighters, stealth bombers slipped forward like shadows. Lieutenant Commander Lee Hyorin piloted the lead bomber, watching her tactical display with practiced calm as enemy ships repositioned to counter the apparent threat. "Stealth group, maintain course," she ordered. "Targets locked." Behind her, crews armed specially modified EMP warheads. Dr. An Sung-ho's research team had spent months studying captured Vorthari power systems. They discovered crystalline matrices were highly susceptible to electromagnetic interference if struck with precise frequency modulation. The bombers released their payloads in perfect synchronization. The warheads streaked toward the command Nexus, their stealth coating rendering them invisible to enemy sensors until detonation. At the Nexus, automated defense systems tracked incoming threats. But the pattern analysis focused on Min-ho's fighters, now executing impossible maneuvers that overloaded prediction algorithms. The stealth warheads approached undetected. Multiple electromagnetic pulses erupted simultaneously. Energy cascaded through crystalline structures, never designed to handle such interference. The Nexus station's main power grid fluctuated wildly. Control systems that had operated flawlessly for millennia suddenly failed. Emergency lighting activated. Throughout the massive facility, aboard the Vorthari command ship, tactical officers witnessed their entire defensive network go dark. Subsystems struggled to compensate as harmonic disruptions spread through interconnected systems. "Primary systems offline," reported an engineer, attempting manual control. Commander Go Soo-hyun led the boarding teams aboard specially equipped assault ships. These vessels, carrying multi-species crews trained in combined operations, navigated through the confusion toward dock points on the Nexus. Her ship made hard contact. Cutting torches sliced through crystalline hull plating. Korean Marines, Keltari warriors, and even some Grexian demolition experts poured through the breach. Inside, they found emptiness. Control stations sat abandoned. Holographic displays flickered, with error warnings. The perfect crystalline corridors echoed with footsteps of invaders rather than defenders. "Bridge team, this is Alpha Group," Soo-hyun reported. "The facility is evacuating. Repeat, the Vorthari are retreating." Throughout space, Vorthari ships began coordinated withdrawals. Their formation broke apart as vessels accelerated toward jump points. The fleet that had maintained siege for months was disengaging across the entire front. The retreat stunned even experienced human commanders. Millions of tons of warships, collectively holding power to obliterate planets, now fled like startled prey. From his command station, Admiral Tae-jun watched their departure on strategic displays. His tactical officer looked to him for pursuit. "Orders." "Let them go," Tae-jun decided. "We've achieved our objective." As Vorthari ships vanished into subspace, a final transmission broadcast across all frequencies. "You do not fight like the others. This dispute is postponed." The voice of the Vorthari Grand Commander carried strange uncertainty. For the first time, humanity heard something approaching respect from their would-be conquerors. Celebrations began immediately. On Earth, cities erupted with the sound of sirens and cheers. Ships throughout the fleet fired victory flares into space, creating a constellation of joy. Months of siege warfare, sacrifice, and desperation melted into relief and triumph. But amid the celebration, wise voices cautioned restraint. Colonel Won Ji-ha addressed troops aboard the transport carrier Indomitable Will. Veterans and recruits alike gathered to hear his words. "They'll be back," he stated plainly. "But now they know something they didn't before." He paused, looking into faces that had aged beyond their years. "Humans don't surrender. We adapt. We innovate. We fight in ways they cannot predict." His words echoed through humanity's expanded domain. The galaxy had changed. For the first time in Vorthari history, a cornered species had not only survived but fought them to a standstill. The war wasn't over. The retreat meant postponement, not abandonment. But humanity had proven something fundamental. Determination could match technology, when backed by endless creativity and unwavering will to survive. The end.